It frightens me. Well, actually, let's play what you just spoke about, John Heilemann, and we played these small clips. Let's play longer clips to get a full sense of this interview. Take a look.
Biden is, I don't even like to mention Biden because he's not controlling anything.
Who do you think is pulling Biden's strings? Is it former Obama
people
officials?
That you've never heard of, people that are in the dark shadows, people that
what does that mean? That sounds like conspiracy theory, dark shadows.
No, people that you haven't heard of. They're people that are on the streets. They're people that are controlling the streets. We had somebody get on a plane from a certain city this weekend. And in the plane, it was almost completely loaded with thugs wearing these dark uniforms, black uniforms with gear and this and that. They're on a plane.
Where's this?
I'll tell you sometime, but it's under investigation right now.
You think the suburbs are in danger if Biden is elected?
Yeah,
we already know the cities are in danger, but
so,
are the suburbs in danger? Because they say that's fear-mongering on the part of
I know the
Republicans.
suburbs. Look, Westchester was ground zero, okay, for what they were trying to do. They were trying to destroy the suburban, beautiful place, the American dream, really. They want low-income housing, and with that comes a lot of other problems, including crime. May not be nice to say,
You're not saying all poor
but
people are criminals, though.
No, I'm not saying that at all. But there is a level of violence that you don't see. So you have this beautiful community in the suburbs, including women, right? Women, they want security. I ended where they build low-income housing project right in the middle of your neighborhood. I ended it. If Biden gets in, he already said it's going to go at a much higher rate than ever before. And you know who's going to be in charge of it? Cory Booker. That's going to be nice, okay? Shooting the guy in the back many times. I mean, couldn't you have done something different? Couldn't you have wrestled? You know, I mean, in the meantime, he might have been going for a weapon. And, you know, there's a whole big thing there. But they choke. Just like in a golf tournament, they miss a 3-foot.
You're not comparing it to golf because, of course, that's what the media.
I'm saying people choke.
Saying people choke. He did. He compared shooting a black man in the back 7 times to missing a 3-foot golf putt. Let's say that again. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, compared shooting a man 7 times in the back with missing a 3-foot golf putt. And on the suburbs, low-income housing, crime comes with it. And as Laura was trying to correct him, he said it might not be nice, but crime comes. And then he just blurts out women. Like, we've got to protect the white women. Again, Gene Robinson, this is a racist trope not out of 1955. It's out of like 1855. Yeah. It's out of 1870. I mean, this is, this is, and I'm just gonna say one other one, the dark shadows. Planes completely loaded with it sounds like bad guys from Avenger movies. It is so unmoored. It is so out of like right field. It is straight from the pages of QAnon. And I just wonder, I've just got to say, my friends and relatives that still think this guy is worthy of their vote, Gene, I must say, I didn't understand it 3 years ago. It's getting even more difficult to understand today. That man on that interview was completely unhinged.
Yes. I mean, those, separate this into 2 buckets. The stuff about the dark shadows, people in the dark shadows, you've never heard of them. And she's like puzzled about this, basically stop. This sounds like a conspiracy theory. But he keeps going because that's totally unhinged. The rest of it is just flat out racism of a kind.
Flat out racism. White supremacy.
I mean, of a kind that, that Strom Thurmond in my youth in South Carolina was more sophisticated and subtle than that. Okay, he would have been more sophisticated and subtle in his racism than the president of the United States is right now. He's just completely this has to be coming from somewhere deep inside. I think. I don't think this is just tactical or strategic or whatever. I just think this is who Donald Trump is. He's just a flat out racist and of the 1870 variety.
Yeah, this is not latent. This is overt. And Mark Leibovich, we could talk about him comparing the shooting of a black man 7 times. That's like missing a 3-foot putt. They choked. They just choked. That's one thing. But again, we talk about the suburbs and bringing low-income housing into the suburbs and talking about the crime that comes with it and talking about the women. Like, we have to protect our white women. He sees that he's down in the suburbs. He thinks that this is how he wins votes in the suburbs without understanding this is exactly why he's been losing white educated voters in the suburbs since Charlottesville.
Yeah, and if you look at public opinion on Trump and his various issues, what he really lost on this summer was whenever he talked about race, whenever, there was an incident around, Lafayette Park, around the demonstrations in June and the late spring, that's when he really lost with suburban voters. And I think, people will focus on, the bites of that interview last night. The golf putt thing, the 3-foot putt thing, but really just the entirety of the riff is the kind of thing that suburban voters, or any voters, really, certainly anyone who is persuadable in any direction, would see and wonder, is this going anywhere good, right? The plane loaded with people dressed in black, right, remember when Ross Perot said that thing about, he kind of said George Bush was going to disrupt my daughter's wedding, and that became the thing that people focused on for weeks in that election in 1992. This was an entire interview of that, and really you sort of wonder, look, the contours of the race seem to be coming into focus in the last few days. Maybe the polls were tightening after the conventions. Maybe a contrast was being drawn in a way that could have been a path to victory and actually setting the race on a course that's in a better place for the president. But you just sort of wonder, what something like this does to any kind of unified message and any kind of sort of, place that the Trump campaign is trying to bring where their message is.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This kind of talk, Ross Perot, when he talked about Black Panthers scaling the walls of his yard to disrupt his daughter's wedding, that finished his campaign. Trent Lott says a stray word or two complimenting Strom Thurmond, saying the country ends his career. You have people on TV that have said far less than what Donald Trump said last night, ended their career. Donald Trump, I guarantee you, anybody on television compared the killing of a black man 7 times to missing a 3-foot putt, they'd lose their job by the end of the day. If a governor said that, if a university president said that, if you had a CEO saying, oh boy, the low-income housing in suburbs, white women are going to be in trouble and crime is going to go up, they would lose their job. The board would vote them off by the end of the day. A high school football coach, if he said such things or she said such things, would lose their jobs by the end of the day. But Donald Trump is still president of the United States. Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.